Eileo guys, and welcome back to another account review. I believe this is account review like number 14. I could be wrong, but they have been steadily coming in, and I'm just fortunate enough that I can help you guys. But please bear with me because there has been a lot of requests, so it could take some time for me to get to it because they are a bit time consuming, but I mean, I don't mind helping you guys out. But anyways, for today's video we have Joan. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If not, YouTube lied to me. But let's go ahead and check out his account and see what he's working with and see what we could change for him. So looks like you have a fire Miho. We'll start off with the fire ones, of course. Looks like you have a fire Miho. You might be in the process of building her. You have an attack and crit rate gem on her. Not very much gems either. Not sure why you have a attack and crit rate gem on her when her crit isn't anywhere near max. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that you're in the process of building her, which is perfectly fine. My only suggestion is maybe change those gem sets. Yes, you can use her in Titans or Clan versus Clan. Probably more so Clan versus Clan and Titans, because her HP siphon is weird. It attacks greatly restores allies HP in proportion to the amount of damage dealt, which she's a tank type, so she doesn't really do that much damage. So if you wanted to give her attack gem, it's not the end of the world, but she's just very, very awkward. So if you want it, just do HP, attack, defense if you are going to invest in her. If you're not, just disregard this advice, but you do have her booked up and level 60, so I'm sure that you use her somewhere. So that's my suggestion. Others might have another idea. Others might just say don't use her, but it's really up to you. Then you have a light succubus over here. Not a light succubus. Darn, I'm doing this again like I did on the live stream. Fire succubus. She does have a square slot. You do have crit rate on her. Attack. That works, but then again it doesn't. Depending on what area that you're using her in, double attack does work. I do find HP, like crit rate, attack, HP to be better for her, just for the simple fact that she's not very tanky. I mean, she does have self-sustain, but in some areas I feel like when she gets attacked that she ends up dying. So if you find that yours is dying, then I do suggest switching an attack gem out. And my only other real problem here though is that both of her moves are crit reliant and you're not hitting max crit. I mean, you're at 71%, but I would say throw her on a broken set if you can get good crit subs on those with that crit gem up there on her already. Or if you can't get good subs on your broken set, aim for intuition and get her crit at least near max, at least 90%, and that should help her be a lot more stable with her damage and her sustainability, because if she doesn't crit, none of her moves work at all. But you could definitely use her in Golems B10, and you can also use her in Dragons. And then you have Eileo over here. He is on an intuition set, attack, crit rate, crit damage. Okay, he has near max crit rate. I mean, there's no real issue with this. He's built fine. I'm sure he does his job. One book for him. If you do use him a lot, which I do recommend because he's just awesome. Good Clan versus Clan Mon, hits like a truck. Also really, really good B9 Mon and really good Dragons B whatever. The higher dragons that require strong hitting fire mons to pass through. He's splendid. I mean, you have near max crit on him. It's just a matter of you getting a better sub. Yes, you have the crit damage on him instead, but with Hunter and him being near max crit, I have no problems with him. So definitely not bad at all. You have a fire Yuki, triple square master race, HP defense, HP, good, very good attack sub on her. Definitely not bad at all, 22%. My suggestion is, I'm assuming that you're using her as a soul debuffer, so not a soul debuffer, but as a debuffer and not really there for damage. Nothing wrong with that. Obviously aim for more resist if you can. Her main job is just to survive, but other than that, she's fine. Get her to level 60 if you do use her in Titans. Then fire garbage, fire grab bag over here, morale boost and vigor, so very, very similar to water Siren. So if you were going to use her, I would say maybe HP defense recovery, HP defense, something along those lines. Just make sure you give her some resist. Get her to 60 when you can, and she should be okay as a healer. I mean, at least in Titans. I'm not going to say that she's like the best, or I'm not going to say that I am like an expert at Titans, but she should be able to help you if you need her. If you don't need her, just disregard. Then you got Fire Shinobi over here on a Valor set. Attack, crit damage, and then crit rate. So near max crit on him as well. So normally I would say 100% crit rate before you do crit damage. But if you want to do that, that's fine. My only complaint here though is instead of a Valor set with this 90% crit rate, why not put him on a Ruin? If you're going to do it like this, Ruin should offset his damage even more per crit than Valor. I mean, I'm not an expert here, but I think in theory Ruin would out damage Valor because of the additional 40% on top his crit damage gem. And another way that I always say with these mons is HP attack for Sea Strikers mainly. And I believe on a live stream, since Shinobi's balance type, you could get away going full glass, like full glass, either crit rate attack on him or crit rate, actually not even crit rate, triple attack with some good crit rate subs and resist subs. You can even do that. I don't have one though, so if he works, he works. Just aim for more resist if you can and get him to level 60 ASAP for Titans. Then you have your Fire Arthur over here at Evo 2 with a costume. So I'm going to assume that you're keeping him. Decent Fire CC'er. Very decent Fire CC'er. You have him on HP defense. Nothing wrong with that. Looks like you're trying to use him more as just a stunner that survives and not really so much with his attack. There's nothing wrong with that. His resist is okay as well. So if you want to get him to level 60 when you can, I mean, take your time. I don't really see much of a problem here. Then your Fire Sanzang. I would just hold off on her right now. I don't really recommend building her because I haven't seen the rest of your mom box. Then you have 2 Fire Wukongs that you're not using at all. How could you? Fire Wukong, definitely HP attack. Doesn't matter if it's a broken set. You can do Intuition. You could do Ruin, but HP attack, aim for some crit rate subs and resist subs, and for both of them, that should be perfectly fine. I mean, work on getting them both to level 60 and Evo 2, because you have one at Evo 2, but then you have another at Evo 1, and they should be okay. Pebble's not worth talking about. Ramu, Hunter, Misha, and Medusa, probably just for gems. I'm going to go ahead and assume they're just for gems. Then you have a Water Yaksha. She's on attack, crit rate. She's perfectly fine, man. Already, she's perfectly fine. With her Stalker, she automatically has a 60%, not a 60%, but she automatically has like a 40% crit rate, and you're giving her that 60 on her. So she's perfectly fine. You have her as strong as possible on a Ruin set. So kudos to you, man. Your Yaksha is supreme legitness. And then you have 2 triple square Master Race Monas, and then 1 that's not triple square. Her gems are very, very bad though, so I'm not sure where you're using her at. They're not like horrible, but with other mons that you have gemmed up properly, like your Yaksha, I'm wondering why hers is like that. Let's check these other 2. It's like you might be in a process of this one. And then this one's hopefully built. Attack, triple attack. So these might be your B8 mons. If they're one-shotting the waves, then keep them as they are. You don't need to go to 60. If they're not one-shotting waves, try booking them. If that doesn't work, get them to 60. But if they're one-shotting waves, we won't even bother. I'm assuming that's where you're using her at, so no problems there. And then your Water Siren. You have her recovery, HP. Nothing wrong with that. I like recovery gems, but I may need to do some more research on them. I'm not sure where you use her at. Maybe you do use her as a healer in Titans. So my only suggestion is at least get her skill booked up when you can to help boost the recovery up on the vigor, and also the passive skill effectiveness, whatever that affects, and get her to 60 when you can. But healers are kind of like back burner for Titans anyways, because all the damage comes from the Sea Strikers, and normally they're pretty tanky enough anyway, so it's not like you're hurting the squad by, you know, not leveling them up first. And then you got Water Yeti over here. Once again, another good Titans Mon. You have a recovery gem on her. Not sure why. And then a defense gem. Maybe you just threw something on her right now. Maybe she's just in a process of getting changed or whatever. But if you're going to use her, definitely book her up. Definitely book her up because both of her moves got a 70% chance for 2 turns, which isn't bad at all. I would do maybe HP defense or HP defense and just aim for resist. You don't need attack. She doesn't really have that much attack, so damage wise you're not gaining anything. And then Water Loki, he does have a square slot on him. If you're investing into him, he needs crit rate, attack, which it looks like you're trying to go for that. Maybe you were trying to gem him up, but you ended up abandoning him, which is okay. But in the future, just crit rate, attack like you have him. Intuition's fine, Ruin's fine. Just make sure he has max crit. Broken set is fine, and he should be okay. Water Valk, you have at Evo 2. Maybe you're in the process of using her too, but you don't use her anymore because she's only level 50. If you were going to use her, maybe give her another attack gem or give her HP gem, and she should be set. The crit rate could work in my opinion if she had max crit rate or near max crit rate, but since she doesn't, you might be compromising here, but you could be in the process of building her, so I'm not too worried about that. Water Nightmare, if you are going to use her, you do have her at Evo 2. You have HP. Maybe you're going for triple HP, or maybe you're going for HP defense. Nothing wrong with that. Get her to Evo, not Evo 3, but get her to 60 when you can, and of course give her some resist, or maybe one day get her in a pugilist set. Not really sure about your plans for her, but just suggestions. Water Tiger, not worth the squeeze. You do have a Sura with a square slot, so I mean, in the future, if you wanted to build him, nothing wrong with having a nice water CC'er. Obviously, you're going to require more Suras. Not really sure if you need him or not, but if you are, just make sure he has max crit. You can do crit rate, attack, HP on him, crit rate, attack, crit rate, HP defense. As long as he has max crit, which I would recommend an intuition set for him, to hit that max crit, then it doesn't really matter. The rest of these ain't even worth talking about. You got a whole bunch of slimes because you've been sliming. Alright, moving on, we have your Wood Banshee, which you have on HP set, attack, crit rate. So it looks like you're going for maximum damage from her. So you're trying to get some utility out of her and some damage. Perfectly fine with that. Near max crit. Maybe you gave her HP because she is an attacker type. So nothing wrong with that. If you do use her, obviously book her up when you can. I'm assuming that you do, but I don't really have complaints for her because it looks like you use her. Your Wood Miho, looks like you have some resist on her and near max crit, HP, attack, crit rate. You love this crit rate on her, and you have her on Valor. So not really sure if you're just putting things on Valor to kind of boost their damage, which is perfectly fine. But then you have crit rate on them as well, which kind of makes me curious. Like you're trying to maximize the damage of all of these Mons, which is perfectly fine. You do have her at Evo 3 and level 60s, so you might end up super evolving her at some point in time. But nothing wrong with that. Then you have your Wood Odin over here. HP 7 and defense down. Doesn't look like you touched her. You have her at Evo 2, so you might be holding off for another Odin. And then you have a Wood Merlin on crit rate, defense, maybe attack. So you might be kind of going for like a pseudo bruiser build. Nothing wrong with that, but seeing how you gem your other Mons up, I would suggest maybe HP attack instead. Or if you want to go glass, do the crit rate attack on him instead. But the only other thing I can tell you though is get him to level 60, because that should help spread his stats out a little bit more so he won't be so flimsy in Titans. But other than that, I mean, keep building them how you are, and I don't really see a big problem with them. Then Wood Indra, which you have triple square master race, defense, flat defense gem, some resist on it and some defense percentage. and then HP. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, you could do damage with him, but is it worth it? Probably not. Just make him annoying. So my only suggestion is get that flat gem off of him when you can. Aim to get his resist a little bit higher, and if you are using him, as much as it might seem like you are, just get him to level 60. Evo 2 Wood Boltwing, not worth the time. Not worth the time. You have Loki here, Moly, and some Nat 3s. Didn't really seem to be worth the time either. And then Light Yunxi, looks like you are definitely using her with her morale boost and HP siphon. Attack, crit rate, HP. So you have her on more of a bruiser build as well. And honestly, she's not that bad at all. I mean, I'm not saying that she's bad in terms of use, but I mean, the way you have her gem, she's not bad at all. I'm not really sure where you use her at. I would definitely be interested in figuring out where you do use her at, but she's an attacker. She's a light mon. You're going for crit rate on her. You have that. You do have an attack gem on her as well, so there's really no complaints there. No complaints. And her variant skill is Death Blow for crit damage. It is what it is. Then you have a light Nike. Defense, crit rate. So it looks like you're going for more damage on her than defense, which is okay because you do have the resist to back it up, and you do have the crit rate to back it up. So she's okay. She's okay. I don't have any complaints with her either. Just get her to Super Evo. That's my only complaint, actually. I take that back. Then you have a light Kana with Seal and Shock. HP. Triple HP. No defense. Curious as to why there's no defense. That might make her harder to heal, but maybe you're trying to go for like a sponge. I don't have any complaints though. If she works, my dude. Then you have a light Lucy. HP, defense. Again, not too bad. You do have some resist on her as well. So, I mean, and she is also variant, which is pretty nice with that decrease enemies critical hit rate. That could be pretty annoying as a lead, but no complaints here either. And you have a variant Venus as well. HP, triple HP on an HP set, so all kinds of HP. Again, my only complaint though is get her more resist if possible, but other than that, dude, she's good to go. You got a light succubus that you don't have at Evo 3. What are you doing with your life, man? What are you doing with your life? But you have HP on her, HP defense. HP, perfectly fine. Definitely get those gems up to 6-star when you can. It's not a super big deal with them being 5 stars, but 6 stars does kind of optimize her stats the most. Obviously aim for more high resist because she is on a resist set, and according to it, 20% of her resist is coming from that set alone. So definitely aim for more high crit rate subs and get her to Evo 3 as soon as possible, because Light Suck is a beast and I would love to have one, but you know, you can't have everything. Then you have a light Kiki at level 50, which looks like you might have stopped using, but you do have gems on her. HP, attack, HP. So maybe you're trying to give her some attack, even though she's a defender. If she works, she works. My only problem with her though is, at least in Titans, her animation for exposed weakness is just too slow. But clan versus clan, hey man, she's popping. She's popping in clan versus clan. So if you use her there, definitely get her booked up and finish getting her to 60. Not sure why you just stopped at 50, but maybe you got distracted or something. Then light Yeti, you only have 1 gem on her, so maybe you're not investing into her at the moment, and you do have light Snow White instead. So I would say just focus on your light Snow White. Light Miho, triple square master race. HP, defense. Fine. You do have her on a ruin set, which looks like you're trying to get some damage out of her. I don't really think that does anything. I mean, her resist is actually pretty okay to be on a ruin set as well, but I'm not really sure if that does anything damage wise, even if she does crit, because her attack is so dirt nasty low. But it looks like you actually use her, so definitely get her booked up when you can and of course get her to 60. Light Flora. What is this? HP, aggression, and attack down. Not really worth it in my opinion. Not really worth it. If you did want to use her, HP defense, HP defense, aim for high resist. You could throw her in Titans, but probably just clan versus clan to be annoying. Maybe one of the Colossus. I'm not a Colossus expert though, so bear with me there. Then you have a level 50 Gigabat. Looks like you were using him. Defense, HP. So maybe he's just a placeholder for a Titans Mon until you can maybe replace him with someone else because of his stat pool being so low. So not really worried about him, but he does have a good crit lead on him. And then you have Light Incubus. Doesn't really like you invest into him either. Nothing wrong with that. On paper, he sounds amazing, but in reality, it's a lie. It's a lie. Then Light Tina Evo 2. Not really worth using. Not really worth using. We need to check your Dark Mons first. But if this is all that you have, then it is what it is. But let's check your Dark Mons first. Then you have a Light Arthur. Shock and Thirst. More of a PvP Mon. You could build him probably just full glass in my opinion. And possibly use him on your attack squad. Again, I'm not like an expert at PvP, so do keep in mind that if guys leave a comment on your video, please check out the video a couple days later even and read the comments, because a lot of guys got more knowledge than your boy. I mean, I can't do everything. But if you are going to do it, knowing you're probably going to do like crit rate attack HP or crit rate attack. Nothing wrong with that, but if you are going to invest in him, again, my suggestion is get him to level 60 and get him to Evo 2. And you have a Light Kraken. Again, you have Light Lucy, and I would actually may even choose Light Yeti over Light Kraken. I mean, I could be wrong. But if you are going to use her, just keep in mind that she needs max crit. So crit rate HP defense or crit rate HP, crit rate defense, however you want to build her. But of course, book her up. Get her to 60 when you can. Is she worth the investment? I don't think so with the mons that you have, but if you want to use her just because she's freaking Light Sea Star, do it, man. Do it. Just do it. Then Light Yuki over here, you haven't touched her yet. Nothing wrong with that because I haven't touched mine either. But she could serve in the future as a good light attacker for you because of that double shock, which means if she does hit someone with shock, that next turn is going to be pretty darn nasty. And it would be nice if I at least could get some books for her, as well as you, to get that passive up for her 5-star. It would be splendid. But if you are going to build her, HP attack, HP attack, crit rate attack, probably crit rate attack. I would just go in. Like Cupid with his change to defense aggressor. Zeal is interesting. But in terms of uses, I'm not really sure I could recommend where you could use him at. I mean, maybe build him up and give him all kinds of resist and throw him on like a clan versus clan team to hopefully annoy some noobs. But other than that, I mean, I don't really have a suggestion because especially like him and Light Nike, and even Dark Kraken, if they get defense down on them, it's rest in peace to the squad. Rest in peace. You have a Light Nifa, which she might just be doing fusion on. Any others aren't really worth mentioning because they're Light Nat 2s and like Light Nat 1s. Alright, moving on, you have a Dark Yunxi, whatever. Attack, triple attack. Perfectly fine since, in case you guys don't know, Curse does scale off attack. Crit rate does nothing to it, so attack. Not really sure where you use her at, so I'd be interested in figuring out where you do use her at as well, because I chose not to invest in her. But no complaints with her. Dark Kiki, crit rate, attack, HP. Nothing wrong with that though. I would suggest maybe crit rate attack instead, because she does have adrenaline, so she heals herself every turn. And if you do use her, book her up and she gets another 5%, so she heals herself for 25% of her HP every turn, besides when she's doing her predator. But if you don't use her, don't really worry about that. But I mean, she's not crit reliant, so there's not a big issue if you choose not to use crit on her crit rate. But since she is a dark attacker, you're taking advantage of that. No problems there. Dark Moly with a square. Thank the gods. Crit rate, attack. Nothing wrong with that. You just need to change that attack gem when you can, because it is holding her back. And you do have her booked up as well. It's holding her back. That's it, man. It's just holding her back. But Dark Moly is godsend. Dark Fib, you do have max crit on him. You have him triple square master race. Crit rate, HP defense. So it looks like you're going more defensive with him. And since you invested into him so much, I would suggest booking him as soon as possible, just to get more damage out of him. I mean, it's not going to hurt in the long run, and it should. No, it doesn't affect his adrenaline, but it should. It should boost his damage up quite a bit, though. I mean, not groundbreaking, but since his battle rush is already crit reliant, having an additional what was his book? Having an additional 25% couldn't hurt at all. It couldn't hurt at all. But that's my only suggestion for him. Then you have a Dark Miho. HP crit rate. Looks like you're going more for damage on her. I guess nothing wrong with that either. If she works, she works. You do have her booked up. Just get her super evo when you can. Dark Yeti. Looks like you might have abandoned her. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, she's definitely not bad, especially booked up. She honestly isn't that bad for a dark stunner. But if you have at least 1 or 2 stunners of any element, you're pretty much good to go in terms of CCing, at least in a PvE environment. Then you have Dark Kraken over here with a square slot. Looks like you might have been working on her, but you maybe have ran out of gems or you've abandoned her. If you are going to build her, again, you can follow suit with your other aggressors that we've seen before. Just get her booked up into 60 when you can, and maybe throw her on like a clan versus clan team. Not really sure about PvP. You do have a Dark Hohenheim, which congrats on that, and she does have a square slot. I'm not really sure if she's single target or AoE. Maybe she's single target. Shoots a gas round at the enemy that releases high flammable gas and follows it up with explosion that sets off a chain of explosions. I really wish 433 could add something into the game where it says, you know, single target, active skill, single, active skill, group, active skill, AoE, active skill, multiple, something like that, just so you don't have to remember off the top of the dome. But you do have a square slot on her, and it looks like you might be trying to go for a glass build. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, only way to make her better is to get her to Evo 3 eventually. You can have my 18 Fire Hohenheims, and of course get her on Ruin, but Intuition is just as fine, but congrats on her. And then you have a Dark Lucy with a square slot on her. Very, very good Mon. Crit rate, attack. You're going full glass on her as well. Definitely get her to Evo 3 when you can, which is probably what you're holding out for on the last festival, because I do see that you do have some gold saved up, so looks like you're getting ready to slime. Nothing wrong with that, but get her built up, and she's a great nuker. You can run her in PvP. You can run her in Colossus like I do with mine. You can run her in Clan versus Clan, and if you don't have any other mods, heck, you can run her even in PvE as a farmable mon. But let's check out your storage real quick. So Artemis, Merlin, Shiva, Purse, Hades. You do have a Fire Purse. I'll take Fire Purse out for now. You do have a Fire Purse. If you're interested in Titans, I do recommend your Zoo as well. And let's see what else. That might be about it. Yeah, looks like that's about it for you. If you're recommending Titans, get your Zoo out there as well. I would do maybe HP attack. I know Luca recommends triple HP on her. I don't necessarily agree. I'm not a like 100% Titans expert, but it's up to you. It's up to you to decide. The other ones, if you choose to invest in Shiva, you have plenty of Shivas, but we'll just have to see your Golems teams. But definitely take out your Fire Purse and then your Wood Zoo, and I think that's pretty much it for the box. And let's see, Okay, you don't have the other storages, just like I don't either. But let's go ahead and check out some teams for you for golems and dragons. And I did notice, I'll go back to this, but I did notice that you don't really have a siphon farmer. And what is it? You're actually, I'll address this now. It doesn't look like you have a siphon farmer, which kind of worries me because you're almost level 50 at the dark contract, which you should be doing B10 no problem. You should have a Mon hopefully by now, at least on a siphon set. Even if it's a horrible siphon set, you should have a Mon on a siphon set. And I think the only Mon that I've seen with good potential for a siphon set is your Light Tina. But since you can't get her to Evo 3, you probably would just be better off with Sig. I mean, Sig Evo 3 is going to outdamage her at Evo 2. But if you don't want to invest in a Siegfried either, get her to level 60 and get a siphon set on her. Get her with a crit set or something and start running her in PvE as your, soon to be siphon Mon. If not, get a Draka. That's my biggest suggestion though. That might be holding you back in PvE, which is also why I noticed that you have a lot of Mons, but they're not. You have a lot of Mons at Evo 2, but they're not 60. So I'm not sure if you're trying to hold off on feeding them, hoping that the one that you want will come around, or what's going on here. Like, you're almost level 50 and you don't even have 4 or 5 Mons per element at level 60, which kind of makes me question your motives here. Like, you literally only have one level 60 Watermon and you're almost level 50. It's red flag, man. Red flag. You have 2 level 60 Mons that are wood. Red flag, dude. I mean, you do have some Ascendant, but they're not maxed out. Like, some of them are stuck at 50. Then you have a couple Light Mons at level 60, which isn't... This is fine. This is fine. And then your Dark types, you have 2 Dark types. Actually, no. You have 5 Dark types at level 60. Not a big issue because you don't have that many Dark types. But, I mean, your Mon box is very, very small and clean. But with it being small and clean, I was expecting to at least have some more Mons leveled up. I didn't see a Dark Gatito in there either, so maybe you came on recently, which is okay. But let's pick out some teams, and you can do Tower of Chaos perfectly fine, so you should be able to handle all of this content. So for B7, looks like this might be your B10 team. If that is your B10 team, then we don't need to even worry about B7. But your B8 team, I'm assuming your B8 team is... Where is she at? Yaksha, Triple Monas. That's my assumption. If they're clearing the waves out, then I don't see a problem with this. They should be clearing the waves out. If your time is more than a minute, my suggestion again, skill book them up first. If your time is still not decreasing that much, then get them to level 60. At least get one of them to level 60, and your B8 team is set. And then for B10, this might be your B10 team. Not really sure what your time is on it. If you found that your time is more than a minute and a half though, my suggestion would be to perhaps bring in a Sapper instead of Mons that have curse on them. Actually, you only have one Mon with curse on them. And then Light Yunxi is there to heal, but you have a Light Succubus instead. I would bring Light Succubus over Light Yunxi, or whatever, and you could actually scrap her as well, because Curse works when you have multiple Mons on Curse and not just one. But depending on how you get your Succubus built, especially at Evo 3, you could bring in, let's see here. You could take your purse out of the storage and run her as your Sapper, and she should be getting her SP off. No problems at all. You can keep Yaksha here if you want to, because she has max crit rate on her and she's on Ruin. But if you're going to run Succubus, I don't have a Light Succubus, but I believe in theory you could get rid of your Light Nike and you could bring in more DPS like Dark Fibian, and you could bring in another Sapper or another Wave Clearer, and hopefully one of the Mons that you have on a Siphon set. I mean, Light Tina might get janked in here though, but if you had a Dark Mon on a Siphon set, that would be great. You can even bring in your Dark Lucy instead, in my opinion. So you have a couple different compositions that you could do for Golem's B10. Again, these are just suggestions, but since you have a Light Succubus, if built properly, she should be able to get SP off to everyone else in your team, where they're just going through the waves and killing Mons and not have to worry about healing. That's my only suggestion, but that should drop your time down from 2 minutes, however long it took you, to at least 1.5 minutes, maybe even a little bit less. But definitely build up your Light Succubus as soon as possible, in my opinion, and finish up your Lucy. And again, you could pull out your purse instead if you didn't want to bring Dark Fib or Lucy. Pull out Fire Purse to use as a sapper for the golems. That's her main job. She should outdamage Dark Yunxi, Jhoncap, whatever the heck you want to call her, because according to what I have come up with, Curse isn't as effective as a single sapper. I think Curse is more effective if you have 4 Mons with Curse, but as like a single Curse Mon, no. Definitely no. But this team should get you pretty far. And then we can go back to these as well though. So you could use these in Dragons. Again, the water team before, you may be able to use that in Dragons. You may need to bring a healer depending on your DPS, but that should be pretty solid. If you do need a healer though, I love to bring in Dark Fib as my healer for maybe the Dragon. So maybe you can run 2 monos in your Yaksha over there in Dragons if you do need a healer, because Dark Fib is just OG, man. He's just OG. For the other Dragons, the water one, you could bring in your Banshee. Who else you got here? You could bring in your Banshee. You could bring in Indra if you want for some CC. And then you also have your Miho, which you're invested in. And if you require heals, which you shouldn't, but again, if you require heals, you could bring in Dark Fib, or actually you could bring in Light Suck and Dark Fib, and they should be good to go. You should be good to go. She's going to get her SP built off really, really fast though, so she's going to be doing defense down instead of your Wood Miho, so that could potentially slow you down. And if it does, switch her out. Throw in Dark Lucy if you want. I mean, you have choices, especially with a Light Suck. You have choices. If you don't want to invest into your Wood Miho anymore, you could bring in Lucy instead. Looks like you need more Wood Mons, dude. You need a whole bunch. Yeah, you need some more just Fire and Wood Mons. You are raising some Fire Mons over here, but you need some good Wood hitters, like Wood Incubus even. He would be splendid. But you have options. You have options. Heck, you could even bring in Wood Mowgli. I mean, if she was Evo 3. But you do have options, and a team similar to this should get you through. Do I recommend Wood Miho though, because you have your Wood Banshee? No. No. So find another Mon to throw in there and test it out. If you don't need Dark Fib, because your Light Suck is getting all the SP off to everybody in the squad, bring in another Wood Mon, hopefully, and let them go at it. If not, keep your Dark Lucy in there and let her have at it. But you do have choices, and you shouldn't have any problems with Dragons as long as your Mons are properly gemmed. And of course, level 60. I know it looks like it might be kind of difficult for you, but you got to get it done, man. You got to get it done. And for the later Dragons as well, you can feel free to bring in your Fire Succubus, Fire Eileo. Again, I'm going to say bring in Light Succubus. I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. Bring in Light Succubus to get that SP off as soon as possible. And then if you need heals, bring in Dark Fib. You can't go wrong with Dark Fib. You can't go wrong with him. Another suggestion would be to bring in Fire Cupid instead, because he has attack up and he can heal the squad. If you don't want to do that though, bring in another Firemon that's not Fire Miho. And I say I wouldn't even bring in your Fire Yuki either, because Succubus has self-sustain and then she has defense down, while Yuki just does defense down, which could hurt your times on auto. But you could bring in Fire Arthur if you wanted to use him. I mean, I don't see any problem with this. If you had a Siegfried, you could bring him in there. Heck, if you want to bring in Dark Lucy or someone, you can bring them in there. You have a lot of options. You could bring in your Hohenheim. I'm not sure if Hohenheim is AoE or single target though, but you could bring in pretty much any mon that you want at that point, and that should get you through. If you're dying in dragons, then definitely bring a healer for whatever element you're struggling with, and that should help you have stable runs. But other than that, I mean, I think that's pretty much it for you, John. Well, Joan. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Let me pause the video real quick and make sure there's nothing else that I'm missing though. Alright, so double checking the Discord chat from our chat on Discord. Obviously redundant. You were asking also about clan versus clan mons. So let's go ahead and see what you have here already. I'm not going to fight anyone, but seeing what you're running here. So, Banshee, Wood Miho, Yunxi, Yuki, in my opinion, not the best. Not the best. Miho does have the stun, and you do use her a lot, but I believe her stun is on her 5-star skill and not her 3-star skill. So you could change her out for another stunner instead, like your Wood Indra at the moment, just for stuns. Dark Yangshi, whatever. If she works, she works. Keep her where she's at. But in that case, you could keep her where she's at. But if she doesn't work, feel free to switch her out, and I would actually bring in Dark Lucy or your Hohenheim, which you do have over there as well. Then you have Fire Yuki as a debuffer. I try to run at least one element each when I'm doing clan versus clan, because you never know what you're up against, but you can always change teams on the fly anyways, so it's not very punishing. But if you are going to use her, definitely get her higher up, and you might have more use with a team like this, where you have Arthur coming in and doing the CCing versus Yuki doing the defense down. Again, it doesn't hurt to have two mons that can do defense down, because both of her skills are defense down orientated, while Banshee might die before she can get hers off, so there's nothing wrong with that. And then for your second team, if you're not invested inside Light Incubus, which I personally don't recommend, get him out of there. Fire Miho, if it works with the composition, keep her in there. You have Dark Hohenheim, and then you have your Leo. Again, definitely not bad at all, but I would try to throw in hopefully another nuker, or if you need CC, you could always bring in that Dark Yeti over there. Nothing wrong with that. You could bring in Dark Kraken for attack, but you could actually probably get away with a Moly or a Kiki if you're seeing light mons, or if you're seeing mons, in my opinion, like Siegfried or Wukong, because most of the time Siegfried isn't built defensively, he's built offensively, so his HP is going to be abysmal, and you want to kill him anyways before he kills you. But again, these are just suggestions. You could also bring your Light Arthur for your teams as well. But I definitely, most of the time on Clan vs. Clan, I never change my team. I definitely try to have at least one element per team. And I do try to bring in a Dark Nuker as well. And don't forget, looks like you might be losing your Light Suck for defense, which is nothing wrong with that. And are you in Clan vs. Clan? Doesn't even look like you're in Clan vs. Clan. I mean, maybe I can't see, but yeah, you're not in Clan vs. Clan, so let's actually, are you? It says I could fight people. Should be 48. Okay, yeah, so they tore you up. So this is your defense team. Definitely take kind of out. I would keep Succubus where she's at. Get rid of this, like, this whole entire light comp. You could hide Dark Nike instead, or you could hide Dark Miho instead, but you do have Dark Miho over there. But I would get rid of this comp. It's just so easy. Once they kill your Miho, which is only level 50, they just kill the rest, and they probably end up killing your Light Succubus as well. So your mons need higher resist. This team isn't too bad, but again, you're being a little bit too reliant on light mons, especially Yangshi and Venus. Venus is always like an easy win. If I kill your Dark Miho and if I kill your water Yaksha, I'm pretty much set. So definitely change one of these. Get a Mon with shock on them, like you do have your light Snow White hidden. But that would be my suggestion. I'm not a big expert with defense teams, but I would definitely change both of these up. Maybe throw in a Mon that has some CC on it as well. But I think that's pretty much it. That's all I can pretty much help you with, though. In terms of Colossus, doesn't really look like you do Colossus. With Colossus, I would suggest you having some Sea Strikers, at least a Water Sea Striker for this one. So I can't really help you here either. But I do have Colossus videos, just showing you what teams that I use for Colossus. Once you get your Dark Mons up, though, then you should be able to get away with the light one, in my opinion. You may be able to get away with it with your Dark Lucy built up and using your light Kiki, but a Gatita would make that a lot better. But that's pretty much it for this video, Joan. I definitely hope this helps. My suggestion to you is to invest more in your Mons. Number one, get them all, get them to level 60, dude. Get them to level 60 before anything. Build some of the Mons I suggested for your dragon templates as well. Definitely change that B10 team because I don't know the time on it. If it's fast, it works, man. Congratulations, I was wrong. But if it's more than a minute and a half, at least take into account what I suggested and work on that and get that B10 time down. But you should be pretty much set. Again, my only other complaint, though, besides leveling your Mons to 60 if you're almost level 50 in the game with the Dark Contract, is either pick Light Tina as your soon-to-be Siphon Mon or invest into a Fire Siegfried. I know that the anniversary for MSL is coming up in about 2 months, so you could stick around until then, but I would say invest in one of those in the meantime, because if you get a Dark Sarah or Light Sarah or a Dark Tina, you can always swap some of your Siphon Gems over to them. But that's pretty much it for this video. I definitely hope it helps. If you guys want an account review done, hit me up on Discord. I can send you a link in a comment or check out the description in the video. Just keep in mind, like I said before at the beginning of the video, this is a very time-consuming process. I don't mind helping you guys, but sometimes your boy needs breaks too. Sometimes I got other stuff to do, but if you need an account review done, your boy got you. As long as you hit that subscribe button, though. As long as you hit that, though. But peace out, you guys.